I'm Ryan. This is my brother Daniel, and this is Rolls in the Family. And today we are talking about games that at least the internet thinks aren't that great. Or rather, they're just more lowly rated than other games in our collection.
Underrated games.
Perhaps one might say underrated games.
I just
These
said
are going
it.
to be someone might say that.
It was me, Ryan.
These are going to be the 10 games in our collection that have that we obviously choose to keep and are in our collections, but have the lowest average rating on BoardGameGeek.
Wow.
Now, that is specifically the average rating. There's also like the geek rating on BoardGameGeek that takes into account like how many people have rated it. Actually, fun fact about how BoardGameGeek works is basically that geek rating, they're putting a bunch of like 5.5 ratings in. It's like as if like 100, they don't have like the details of it publicized so people don't abuse it.
How do you know?
But it's like, I just pick up random things on the
Sounds
internet.
Like Ryan's making this up right now, if you ask me.
Yeah, no, they put like a bunch of 5.5 ratings in so that even if like a game is really new, it's gonna pull it towards 5.5, like 5.5 out of 10. But as more and more ratings come in, that influences less and less because it's a smaller percentage.
Sounds rigged.
Came for your BoardGameGeek fun fact of the day.
Sounds rigged.
But we went off of average rating, which is just literally like the user ratings, coming out to the lowest. So we will have links to all these games below as usual. You can check them out for yourself. That is a way to support the channel.
Go check out these awful games.
we recommend these games. Yeah, there's reasons. We're going to talk about the reasons why.
Go check
and if you've ever watched one of our cold videos or games that have left our collection, you'll know that we're pretty like relentless about getting rid of games that
have left.
We've gotten rid of a lot of good games. You're probably going to see this and be like, I can't believe they've kept some of these over ones I've seen.
Wow.
But hopefully we can explain ourselves well enough. And we'd love to hear also any games in your collection that maybe aren't super highly rated, but you think have found a spot worth owning.
In the rough.
In the rough.
Yes.
So let's kick it over to Daniel and get this list started. I guess there's one final caveat to the list,
huge
right?
Caveat to this list that you need to explain.
We had to have one exception that was ruled out of the.
It was so bad we had to keep it off the list.
Yeah, so Daniel's list, I think, would have had a certain game by the name of Tasty Humans,
which game.
I actually designed.
Whoa! Sorry, Ryan.
Believe it or not,
I didn't mean to.
Not a super popular game, but look it up. I did have the opportunity to work on that project. But we decided maybe leave it off.
Actually, all the links down below are actually just links to Tasty Human. So,
you can get it on Amazon. Believe it or not.
Really? There you go.
That's a miracle.
Go check it out.
There you go. It's a good price too.
There you go. Wow.
I'm not seeing any of that money. Don't worry. It's not supporting me at this point.
It's not supporting him at all.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's get this going.
Yes. No Tasty Humans, but 10 other games that we for some reason decided to keep.
Maybe we'll convince ourselves over this video.
Yeah, maybe over this video.
Why do I have this game?
Yeah, this might just turn into our cold video after like a month. So my 10th worst game, is that the best way to describe it?
10th lowest rated?
10th lowest rated based off the public opinion is gonna go to Magic Maze.
Interesting, actually. I didn't realize it was that lowly rated.
You would have thought it was higher rated?
Yeah, it's pretty popular.
Yeah, it's so I got Magic Maze probably 5 years ago, maybe something like that. And this game, it's a very interesting cooperative game in that you're kind of trying to move around this, I think it's like a mall or something like that. But the whole thing is you can't talk during the game. And so each player is in control of, there's just one pawn and you're in control of one direction of moving that pawn. And so it's this very interesting thing where you can't talk to each other. You all control one direction. So you're trying to like, okay, I move it this way, then that player's got to move it this way, and then that player's got to move it this way. The only way you can communicate is by this little pawn, and any player can put it in front of a player to say, we need you to do something. That's all.
It is the ultimate like passive aggressive.
Oh my gosh, the
component.
amount of time someone is like slamming that pawn in front of someone is pretty great. So this one has remained in my collection. One, because it's just really unique. Like it is a very unique cooperative experience. And we have had some really good games of kind of going through the various it's got kind of various missions that you can do of various difficulty. And I just haven't experienced a cooperative game that gives you that experience of this cooperative but limited, like we're each controlling a part of this thing.
Well, and it's also a speed game.
Yeah,
like there's a timer.
There's a timer, so you're on the clock. That's why there's the slamming of the pawn. And that's probably where this game doesn't get pulled out a lot for me, because it really takes the right person to want to play something like this. Like I can see so many people who I know personally who would hate this game. Just the pressure, and someone, everyone's staring at you and a pawn being slammed in front of you, and you're just like, what? It should
be so obvious what you should be doing right now.
So it definitely can have that, but if you got the right crew, it's a fun, unique cooperative game that we've had some good times with. Ryan, I'm trying to remember. Have you played Magic Maze?
I have played it. It was a long time ago.
Okay, I couldn't remember if
I remember liking it. I think it kind of makes, because you don't have Escape Curse of the Temple.
I do not.
Which I own. And I feel like they kind of are in a similar space in the collection as far as the type of experience. So it kind of makes
Escape
sense.
better, so there you go.
There you go.
And I don't own Escape. So if Magic Maze ends up on a cold video for me, it's because I got Escape. So there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
So that is my number 10.
Cool. My number 10 is one that I feel like we've been just talking a lot about lately. Wow. It's just happened. It came up in a previous video. We actually then reviewed it recently. This is Push, which is a simple card game that is not trying to hide behind any theme at all, right?
No theme for Push.
Push your luck. Call it Push. And it's very simple. No graphics or anything, just colored numbers.
Yeah.
And this is one that, I don't think it's gotten a ton of traction online, but obviously enough that I found out about it and thought it was a good option. Mm-hmm. It's not very flashy. It's very straightforward, kind of push your luck, but it is an example of a game that fits into a niche that I like having a few options within, which is the quick and easy game I can play with just about anybody, quick to play, quick to teach, and like still has exciting moments and just kind of some dynamics to it that like create what you want around the table.
Right.
And for me, Push has done that really well. And I've been really happy with it. And so it's not an example, I think, of one that I would say is underrated. Like the
properly rated.
The rating is about what I rate it, but like as far as my personal taste of how much I would want to play it.
Yes.
But it finds a place in my collection because it just like fills that niche very well.
Yeah.
Which is a niche that, it's not unlike other games we're going to see on this list. The gamers that are online looking for games and researching games.
The type of guy who goes and rates board games on BoardGameGeek, I don't think is looking for
this isn't going to be as high,
but
for
not
them.
true.
So
for
it makes
us,
sense,
but not true for us.
But it's important. It's important to have these types of games.
It's very important. One of the most important things in life. Wouldn't you say, Ryan?
Yes, at least top 10.
At least. Well, that'll be our next list.
Top 10 most important things in life. Yes. Number 10. Having Push in your collection.
Love it.
Yes. Love so that is my number 10.
Yeah, I don't have Push in my collection, so I need to watch that, hear that list. Okay, Ryan, coming over to my number 9. So this is going to be a bit of a spoiler to maybe some of the rest of my list. This game is in a trilogy of games. That's not something you hear too often. The games kind of come in a package together. In my opinion, this is the second best one of the three.
Or second worst.
Oh, wow, Ryan. You're one of those type of people, aren't you?
If you're
okay. Wow.
Glass half full.
Jeez, Ryan. Okay. This is going to go to Mountain Goats. This is one of these kind of three games, and I'm trying to remember the name of the isn't it
Well, I think it's all play now, but it used to be board game tables.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Okay, so they've changed since, but it's kind of these 3 games that are all meant to just be super accessible, very simple, and play quick. We're talking like 10-15 minutes. I mean, these are
in a little square box.
This one might actually be the longest of them. It might, and when I say long, it's like 20 minutes maybe. But this one, it's you're all got these goats, and there's these different cards that you put out of different kind of vertical columns, and basically you're rolling dice and using the die results to move your goats up these various columns. And at the top of whenever a goat gets to the very top, it gets one of the victory point chips at the top of that column. And so if you stay at the top and you keep rolling that die result, you're just going to keep getting that victory point chip. But if another goat gets to the top where you're at, they knock you all the way back down to the bottom. So it's kind of a little bit of a king of the hill type thing in each column, and whatnot. And this one I found has worked really great with people. It's pretty not the most accessible one of the 3, but still pretty easy to teach. It's got some just interesting decisions with the dice. I find that's just like which column to go up on is very interesting, especially because, and I'm blanking a little bit, but I believe it's if you get a I want to say it's like if you get a chip from every column or something like that, there's a bonus that you get. So you have incentive to like, one, you might just want to go after one column and like hammer it because you can just get a bunch of points. But also you kind of want to get, one from every column. And so again, very simple game. I can understand why it's not highly rated. But that's the thing is like, not highly rated, but for what it's trying to do, I really like it. And so it's in my collection because there's not very many games that deliver a 15 to 20 minute quick to teach, like accessible game like that. And it's got, I think, really good visual appeal too. It looks really nice when it's out on the table. So that is why it's stayed in my collection. And it's going to come in at number 9.
Number 9.
There you go.
Yeah, it's kind of a variant on Can't Stop, the classic, with a little bit of difference in kind of that you, instead of it just locking a column when you get to the top, you can like keep getting points and then a king of a hill thing.
Right.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
My number 9 is one that I've had for a while. I actually have an edition of it that is no longer sold because they basically got like copyright infringement or something and had to change the name of it. Wow. So this now goes by the title Terror in Meeple City. I have the version that's called Rampage. The original
wow.
version.
The people are not fans of Rampage. Tragic.
Yeah, so who knows? Maybe someday I'll sell it for, $20,000 as a collector's item.
No, it's a great kids game. You got to keep that one for the kids.
Yes. So yeah, this is a, we mentioned that something that can keep a game in the collection, even if it's maybe not your favorite, is if it's really unique. And if there's something that Rampage is, it's really unique. It is literally, you build up this city with like the platforms that make up the levels of the buildings are held up by these little meeples everywhere. And then you are monsters on the outside of the city. And on your turn, you're either flicking your little disc to move around the city, or if you're close enough to a building, you get to drop your monster, literally drop it on the building and like try to destroy it.
Yeah.
And, you're going to be able to eat up meeples. And if there's any of the tiles that don't have anything on top of it, you get to eat the tile. And so it's just like this chaotic physical game of knocking stuff over and destruction. But then there's like enough game woven into it of like you're trying to collect sets of all 6 different colors of meeples. So like you want to make sure you're getting different ones. Each player has like their own character that scores in their own way and like a superpower that like gives you something different during the game. So there's just like some fun things that it takes like this just silly concept, but then like wraps it in some modern game mechanisms in a way that like, I know if I don't play it often, but if I'm going to pull it out with the group, chances are that people have never seen anything like it. And it's going to have that novelty of just like, oh, this is such a funny game to play. I've actually had it work it only goes to 4 players, but I've played it with up to 8 where people play in pairs because each turn you get 2 actions and you can just each take an action. And there's just kind of, you get that party dynamic around what's kind of a party-like game.
Right.
So I've kept it around, even though it doesn't tend to rank very highly for me either. Like, it's one of those games I want to play, once a year or something. Like,
I was wondering, when was the last time you
gotten
that one to the table? Do you know?
I played it with my wife and my 3-year-old son.
Well, I was gonna say, like for kids, that game has always. I get so excited to play that game because it just has such a fun, the whole concept. I think I always, after playing it, and maybe just slightly underwhelmed by the actual like game mechanisms of it, and then it's kind of like, okay, actually it's fine.
But it's got a quick burnout of like the first few times you play. Like, once you get over that novelty factor, then it's like, okay, I've kind of seen this, but it's still fun to engage with every once in a while.
Yeah. So that is a good one, despite its illegal copyright infringements.
Yes.
So it's a shame.
Rampage was a better name.
That's true. Yeah.
Too bad.
Speaking of good names,
we need to do a top 10 segues on Rolls for the Family.
It's actually a mandatory thing. Every time we go into our next game, we have to transition with a segue from the previous one. Speaking of good names, this game is a good name because it's got a play on words, and this is going to go to Ice Cool. That was good. This one I actually got to the table this last week. So how about that?
Good thing you had it in your collection.
No kidding. I know. Can you imagine? Well, we had our oldest brother was out here, and their 2 kids are here, and his oldest son, we got to play Ice Cool. That
probably went over well.
It went over very well. Yeah. So I've got just the base Ice Cool set, and for those of you who don't know, this is again a very similar to Rampage, actually, very unique game in that the box has like 5 boxes inside the box that you.
It's like a nesting doll.
Yeah. Ryan, gosh, that was just a beautiful way of describing it.
Yes.
Wow.
That's what I'm here for.
And you pull it out, all the boxes out, and then hook them together, and you make this massive areas with different rooms for the kind of the arena that you're going to be playing in. And then one of my favorite board game components that there are the little penguins that are weighted, so they
they wobble.
They have all this really just satisfying wobble. And so the whole premise of the game is every round you play as many rounds as the number of players, I believe. And every round, one person is the hall monitor, and it's basically all the other players are trying to flick their penguins through, take turns flicking their penguins, trying to go through the little doors that have their colored fish above them to collect the fish, which will help them get victory points, while the hall monitor is flicking and trying to hit all of the other penguins. And so you're kind of going around like that. But the fun part in this game is the actual strategy there is around flicking these penguins, because there is real skill involved. You can do the normal kind of low to the base straight flick, and that'll kind of, get you forward. But you can also do a curve shot. So if you do a kind of a soft flick on the side of the base that you want it to curve,
spin,
then you're based off, how it's built, it'll kind of spin and curve. And you can I've seen some crazy shots where you do this big curve through multiple doors. And those are probably like the best moments of Ice Cool is those just crazy, shots like that. It's kind of like almost pitch car a little bit of those crazy moments. And then the most ambitious one is the jump, or where you literally, so the way the penguin is, if you flick it really hard on the top of its head, it'll actually jump, pop it up, and you can leap over one or maybe even multiple walls.
Yeah.
And so, especially for the hall monitor, trying to go after people, that's a really fun option. The game is it's very unique. It works for situations like this last week where we've got our younger nephew, and it's just plays quick. It's just a very kind of interactive experience. I find it has the potential for a lot of low moments of just if people aren't good, it's just like
so it's the downfall of a lot of dexterity games. If you're bad at it.
Yeah. So we're just like oh, that was very anticlimactic because you're terrible.
Yeah.
So but man, I will say this, after playing it, one, I'm happy it's in my collection, and two, I said to my wife, we need to get Ice Cool 2 because it's not that expensive and you can combine them and make this massive double the size, and I think there's even maybe some different game modes you can play and stuff. So yeah, very happy to have got it. Ryan, you've played in an Ice Cool tournament before, haven't you?
I did, yeah, like a little local convention.
Yeah.
They had it was a very casual tournament, as in I'm pretty sure everybody participating had never really played before.
This was the World Championship, Ryan.
And unfortunately, the top, I think 3 were going to win a copy of the game, and I ended up placing 4th. So a tragedy.
It is a tragedy. Ryan's still bitter. Still bitter.
Only go back.
Yep.
Well, let's keep it moving on to my number 8 here. My number 8 was a thrift store find. There's not a lot of those in my collection. And it's one that kind of has been a dark horse then of my wife really liking it, and it kind of having this novelty factor to it that has kept it in the collection. And this is the Golden Ticket game.
Oh, your wife. This made her top play.
It did make her top 10
games.
of all years. So yeah, if it makes the wife's top 10 list, it's not going to leave the collection.
Yeah,
so
go check that video out there.
That in and of itself will keep it. But it also has this fun novelty factor of most people are familiar with the Willy Wonka, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory theme. And this has this novelty factor of the game comes with 60 of these actual replica chocolate bars that slide out of little plastic chocolate bars. And at the beginning of the game, you actually put golden tickets, according to the number of players, in a certain amount of them and randomize it. And so the whole game is just strategize to get as many chocolate bars as possible. So you just increase your odds. And at the end, it's whoever has chocolate bars. And so just the end of this game, when we have everybody simultaneously just go and open, and then you hear across the table, I got a golden ticket, and then someone else. And, there isn't really another game like that. And so being able to pull that out in a game that plays in under a half hour and kind of gives a fun, flavorful theme with kind of a fun, exciting, novel moment. It's kind of a nice one to have to just every once in a while pull out that way. So yeah, not one that I likely would have picked up had it not been a find at a thrift store. I mean, we got it for $2 or something.
Wow. Did you get
it was all brand new. The cards weren't
value
even
there?
I think so. The cards weren't even opened. It just was missing the rule book, but
someone just wanted the rules.
Yes, someone just got rid of the rest. But we have the internet.
There you go.
So there you go, Golden Ticket game. Sticking in my collection and maybe worth a look if you find that theme fun and want kind of a fun lotto ending to a game.
Yeah, if you're a huge Willy Wonka fan and
it's a very specific
lotto. very, very specific
very
niche.
Small demographic of our rules
but
and family
that's you.
base. But.
Yep. Very nice, Ryan. Okay, my number 7 is going to go to another smaller man. The people just hate small games. I tell you what. Smaller card game that I got just because it's a very interesting premise, and this is going to go to The Mind.
I did not know you owned The Mind, actually.
I didn't know you owned The Mind.
I don't own it.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I do own The Mind. So in this game, it's a very simple concept in that it's a cooperative game where you deal out this deck to each player. You deal out a hand of cards, and it plays in missions. So you see kind of how many levels you can get to before you guys lose. And so at the start of the game, you maybe start with I think you literally start with one card. I think you maybe add each time. And all it is you all start And so you get dealt a random card anywhere from, I think it's like 1 to 100, and you have to play your cards in order, from ascending order, from lowest to highest, but you cannot communicate. And so I'm trying to remember, because it's been a while, if there's any, there is a
yeah, there's a thing that you have a certain amount of like the special that you can like raise your hand to, and if everybody raises their hand,
then everyone has to play. Everyone plays their lowest card.
Yeah.
But you only have like maybe a couple of those or something, and there's ways to maybe get more in future missions. But for the most part, it's literally just, okay, do I think I have? I mean, it's the whole mind game of, okay, I've got
literally is the mind game.
Oh wow. I've got a 37. How long would someone wait?
Yeah, you kind of, everybody gets into like, what's our cadence for like mentally counting up, but you're like, you can't do this, right? Like you can't
there can be no visual
cues. So you're like, am I going at a similar speed? And you kind of learn the first time you play with a group, like, someone will play their 70 and someone's like, I had the 28.
Yeah.
And so like you in that moment realize, okay, this person was counting way faster than this other person. And so you kind of see everybody's wavelength calibrate a little bit, and it's kind of this fun social experiment.
Yeah. And so this one has, it's stayed in the collection, one, just because it's very tiny, cheap, but also very unique. Like I've had it's fun. It does not have a great longevity, I find. Like this isn't a game, I don't think, that you're gonna play with the same group for forever, but that initial experience of like, okay, this is a really unique gaming experience. And so I've I remember brought it to my in-laws, and we were there for like a weekend, and so we were able to play the mind multiple times that weekend, and it worked great there. And so I think in that situation of being a cheap, simple card game, but can deliver, it's a very, very unique cooperative experience. It's very similar actually to another one I have, like Hanabi, kind of that limited information type thing, but trying to work together. So number 7. Wow, Ryan, I thought you had the mind. So it's a shame.
Well, so I have Take 5, otherwise known as like 6 Nimpt, or it's gone by other names, which that game has a deck of cards from 1 to 104.
Yeah.
So I've played the mind using that deck.
Oh my gosh.
The couple of times I've tried it, I've just tried it with that. So it's like one of 2 games that I proxy in my collection to like use something I have, but it's not something I play often.
Okay.
It was a long time ago. But.
Very nice.
But yeah, very unique one. My next one is, I wouldn't say it's super unique. I don't think that's what's keeping it around. It's a party game, and honestly, for me, out of my party games, it's on the lower end of party games in my collection. But I think it's stuck around partly because I think other people that I play with, like in our family and stuff, like it, I think, more than I do.
Yeah.
I don't know that you're that huge on it either. I don't know if you're...
Like it.
But this is Concept. This is Concept. Yeah, so Concept, is this, you're trying to get everybody to guess your word, and it might be like a movie or like a title or something on your card. And the way you do it is with this board that has all these different like ways to put out cubes to select things. So there might be like each other. Yeah, a lot of them are opposites. A lot of them are just like a color or a shape or something. And so there's kind of this way in the system that you're putting out clues and things associated with that clue to create these concepts that hopefully will lead people to the answer. And if you're doing something more complex, like a movie, you might have like, okay, the main concept is a movie that has, conflict and something, but then there's a sub concept that's like a thing in that movie. So you're trying to like kind of build up these things.
Yeah.
And so I said it's not that unique, but it does kind of fill a unique, thing, at least in my collection of unique, this,
I think,
like trying to get people to guess the thing through these clues, and it's kind of more of almost a cooperative feel.
Oh, don't get me started.
Yeah, we're not going to get Daniel started on this. Daniel hates the scoring in this game, and we're all like, don't worry about the scoring, Jake. It's a light party game.
Just keep going. Right?
But but it does have this feel of just like, oh, it's fun to, who knows how we'll just like either go around the table once if people want to keep playing, we can keep going, and just like everybody's kind of, trying to collaborate and figure it out together. There are some things I don't love about it. I don't love the like. There's kind of this like, we don't know how long we're going to let one go. Like there's no timer or anything. Right. And sometimes somebody is the clue, because usually it's kind of on the clue giver to go, okay, I give up. But I've definitely had sometimes where the clue givers are like, no, I can get it. And all the guessers are just like,
yeah, we're like,
it's been 20 minutes.
We're like 20 minutes into this. Yeah, it's like, okay.
Like this was supposed to be kind of a quick game. But it's kind of just a fun, creative thinking exercise, communication. I've seen people be very, very bad at it. It's when you really have to like explain how, like, okay, this is the concept. And if you use the same color cubes, it's describing that concept. It's one of those games that like, when I'm a guesser, I'm like describing out loud. Okay, because they did this, they're telling us
you're trying to verify that they
and I'm
know
like
what
reinforcing to them, like, this is what you're telling us by doing that. But
that's funny.
People probably hate me for that.
Oh, yeah.
But I've kept it around. It's one that I haven't really thought of getting rid of, just because the times it has gotten to the table, it's like, you know what, that was kind of the right game for that situation. So that's enough for me to keep it.
Yeah, this one is just so tricky because I seriously, Ryan, the whole placing on the board and to describe, I love that.
Yeah, I think you like that.
It is
more than
so
I do.
fun to think that way. I so enjoy it. It's just ruined by the fact that they do not know that this should be a cooperative game, like most party games should be, as we're finding out these days.
Well, it's definitely a new trend that people are more open to the concept of
good one, Ryan.
Cooperative party games. Wow. But concept, I mean, it's not that new. I think it kind of came out before that was popularized.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Oh, okay. Well. Okay. Coming over to me, another party game. I have not played this party game much. Played it last time it was probably quite a few years ago. But one of the original early, I think we got this early on together, and this is going to go to Say Anything.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I still own Say Anything. Yeah, I don't even know if you knew that.
Going way back.
Yeah. No, I was going to say this is one of the first ones. And so this one is, essentially oh my gosh, Ryan, I'm totally like going in absolute fog.
Yeah, you're gonna dig in my memory. I haven't played this in like over a decade.
This is one where it's.
Are you like trying to say the answer to the question that you think the person is gonna pick? Because
yeah, and then everybody bets
on which one they think.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan. See, I knew Ryan would come through. Yeah. So you're all writing the answer that you think the person would put for the question. Then you vote or you bet on, like, you wager on what you think they're going to choose.
Yeah, because it's by the same people that make Wits and Wagers, which Wits and Wagers, it's trivia. Everybody puts in one, and then you bet on who you think is the closest. This like turns that into a social game where we all put an answer for this person, we review it, but then you bet on whose you think they're going to pick. So you don't have to bet on your own.
Right. And so I find this one can be fun if you know everyone knows each other well, and so you can get into some kind of the inside jokes, and really that's the best point, is when there's the laughing. And in some ways I almost feel similar about this one to how I mean I like this one more than this game, but similar to how I feel a little bit about Apples to Apples, of like, the best part of the game is the laughing, right? Like that's what you ultimately want. And so it almost has this little like weird thing of like, it's like I find the person when they're choosing which ones get the right answer, it's like, do I choose the one that's most logical, or like the one that I would like just honestly answer that way, or do I choose the one that's funniest?
And when everybody's betting, they're trying to predict which route the person.
And so it's
are they going to go funny?
Yeah, so it's like kind of like we don't really know what we're supposed to be going for here. And so that's probably why that one doesn't get pulled out a lot. I still own it because party games are accessible, and I have the occasional, very rare, but occasional times where it's come up It might leave the collection at some point, but I don't know. It's to the point where it's like, man, if it gets played once every 3 years, why not keep?
Yeah,
I don't know. So
yeah,
I
feel like it's hard with party games because I agree that's one that's best when everybody knows each other.
Yeah.
But it is hard because a lot of times you're playing party games in settings with groups that maybe have people that haven't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just more common that a party setting is going to have people that haven't played much together.
Right.
But yeah, I could see it still coming up. Like, I could see it within our family still working well. We haven't played it within our family, and
but we're never going to choose it.
That's the other hard thing. So there's a lot of it. We recently did our top 10 party games. And there's a lot of party games our family likes playing.
So yeah, maybe that's time. Maybe that's time it needs to go. So
yeah, I don't know. You're not giving a very strong case for.
Well, it's we'll see. I gotta think about it more. There you go.
Yeah. My number 6 is very unique. This is one that is in the collection because its uniqueness factor. There's nothing else like it, and I like the little fun experience. It's small. This is Illusion, and this is a little card game where you're putting cards out that have basically the 4 different yellow, green, red, blue patterns on it in all these weird ways. And for any given round, you're working with a given color. So we might have red active. And with each card that comes out, you have to slot that card in the line where you think it goes based on how much, what did I say, red? How much red is on the card. And so it's completely like a visual exercise of like, what percentage, does this have a larger percentage of red than this? And you're slotting it, and then the next person has to draw a card and slot it. And so there's more and more options of where you could slot.
Yeah.
But the next person also could challenge and say, I think something is wrong. And then you flip all the cards, and they all have the actual percentages on the back of what percentage was yellow, what percentage was green. And if they're wrong, then the person who last slotted a correct card gets the arrow, wins the round. Otherwise, the other person doesn't. It's just the first to get 3. And, it's just, there's nothing like it. It's just a fun little exercise in like visual and the kind of conversation it strikes. And I've loved the times when we have gotten a long line and it's like, do I think this is wrong? Do I think, it's fun when someone challenges and it's like, oh my gosh, we had it all right. Like, you almost feel like this team, camaraderie of like, hey, we did pretty good there. Yep. Then you have other times where someone someone does it, we have like 3 cards and the next person challenges and one of them was just way off. And like, someone's like, why on earth did you slot that there? Like, how did you ever think? Sometimes that happens because people forget that the color has changed. So it's like, we're doing red last round and then it switches to blue, but somebody's like still thinking red and they're like,
what in the world?
What is everybody thinking?
Are you blind? Oh my gosh.
But yeah, it comes in a tiny little box and just, I don't see even though I hardly play it. I actually did play it, I think, in the last year.
Yeah.
But hardly play it, but it's easy to pull out, easy to teach, and it's so unique that like it's just a nice one to hold on to for those situations.
Man, I have not played that one in a while, but honestly, thinking back on it, I really like that game. It's a very fun, unique experience. It honestly is a similar thing to I think what we were saying about the mind, where like it's a very intriguing like first experience, but I don't know. I would imagine that's a game where you play it.
I wouldn't want to play it all the time.
You're not going to play it all the time. But
I think it's got maybe a little more differentiation than the mind and how it feels based on what comes up.
Yeah, I would agree.
Fun fact. What was this? A second fun fact in the video?
Oh my gosh, Ryan. Jeez.
The mind and illusion.
Fun facts.
Little nuggets. Illusion and the mind are designed by the same designer.
Wow.
And it's the same designer who designed Quack's.
Ryan, what about that fact was fun?
Wolfgang Warsch. There you go.
Shout out.
He's got a lot of very unique games.
If Wolfgang, if you're watching, comment down below.
Yes, let us know, please.
What a great name. Well, yeah. So yeah, but that
did the top 5.
Oh my
bottom
gosh.
5 here.
Bottom 5. Wow, man, people, come on. These games aren't that bad. My number 5 is a recently acquired party game that I have. That is definitely there's people who will absolutely hate the heck out of this game, but I really like it. And you have gotten it as well. And this goes to Poetry for Neanderthals. So this one I think was a little bit of, we both love Time's Up, and very much love these kind of moments where
you're trying to get your team to
guess the thing. And so this is kind of almost a twist on that of you're trying to get your team to guess, but you can only speak like a Neanderthal, meaning you can only speak in one syllable words, and you literally have the person next to you hold an inflatable bat, and if you ever say a word that is not one syllable, they hit you, and you have to put the card into the lost pile and whatnot. And so first thing I'll say, it's hard. Like you don't realize how difficult it is. So you really have to focus in. But
which only makes it funnier because you're like watching this person talk.
I tell you what, it does deliver on that. It is so funny when people are good at this game. Like if you can get a group that really like gets into it and is good at it. Because if you have a group that's bad, I mean, it's just a disaster. Like they're losing every car. I mean, I've had games like that where,
and it's honestly what makes it hard to get to the table, because it's like I don't want to put someone in that situation.
And you're just getting hit by the bat over and over again like that. Trust me, I've seen it bring people down to a low place. But if you can get a group that is good at handling that, watching you do it is just so funny. Speaking in one syllable words the entire time. And then even has just some interesting mechanics with the whole fact that it's got the kind of bait starter word, but then if you want to, you can try to go for, I think it's a 3-point, if it's like a build on of the initial word. And so that's kind of an interesting little thing. So it's stayed in because it's for the right group to just is really funny, which is exactly what I'm going
for. And it differentiates itself
very much enough
from other similar ones.
Especially in the clue, like having to think in one syllable, that is just, there's nothing like it.
There's nothing like it.
And it is more challenging. I guarantee you, listen, if you have not played it, you're going to think it's easy and it's not. So I'll just say that. So that is my number 5, Poetry for Neanderthals.
Nice. My number 5 is also a party game. Party games also are another demographic that, doesn't get super high ratings typically. This is one that I would say is underrated. Like there are not a lot of people.
We're saying all these games are underrated, but
not necessarily. Like some of them I feel like are about where I would rate them. This one I do feel like more people should check out.
Okay.
There aren't that many people that I think have rated it and own it on BoardGameGeek. Okay. This is Ransom Notes. And this is definitely marketed as a very mass market, like get Facebook ads for it type of game that's trying to frame itself as like in the same category as like Cards Against Humanity or those types of things. In fact, they have the game says 17 plus on it. And watch out. No, but it's actually one of my biggest complaints about the game is like there's like 10% of maybe the many cards in the game that make it like mature. But it honestly is a great family party game if you just take out that little bit. So it's like, I want to recommend it to people, but with that caveat of like, go through and just like filter out some stuff.
Please
up
don't
front.
Judge me.
But this is a game that's all about getting everybody to laugh. We don't even do the real scoring in the game or anything. It is just there's some prompt and you're using all the word magnets in front of you to assemble the best answer to that prompt you can. And it's this creative exercise of using broken English and stuff to make a funny answer, and then everybody goes around and shares them. And so it is very dependent on the group. You need a group that's likes that creative exercise. But if you have the right people in the group, and you don't actually need everyone to be amazing,
you just need someone like our oldest
but you
brother.
need enough people that are going to just like create those really funny ones that everybody is then laughing and enjoying. It's a nice one because we don't score anything, it's kind of a play as long as we want. So I've had ones where we literally do like 1 or 2 rounds and it was fun and we're done. And I've had times where we've played for an hour and a half because everybody's having a great time and we just keep wanting to do round after round. So yeah, it's got like a secure place in my collection as far as like it's very different from other party games I have. It's gone over so well, especially with our family. Loves pulling this one out. So yeah, I think it's definitely one to check out if you like the idea of kind of creative party games that'll get everybody laughing.
Yeah, that one's been a hit. That's been a good one. Okay, Ryan. My number 4 is the second of the trilogy. Everyone's just so intrigued about this trilogy. And this, I would argue, is the best one of the 3. And this is going to go to...
Oh, and it's lower rated than Mountain Goats.
Yep. And this is going to go to Sequoia. So Sequoia, again, another one of these small box games, plays up to 5 players. And I just played Sequoia like 3 days ago at a board game, first board gaming little gathering that we had at our church, which was a lot of fun. And Sequoia is a fantastic part of my collection. Like, it plays so quick and it is so accessible, and yet and honestly, the game-changing thing for Sequoia that puts it ahead of Mountain Goats for me is its simultaneous play. The fact that everyone has dice. You have 5 dice, and on your turn, everyone simultaneously rolls their dice, and you're basically making 2 pairs from those 5 dice. So one of the 5th dice doesn't get used, but those 2 pairs, and each pair you add together and whatever number the adds to, you place one of your little tokens onto that pad that's out in like the circle from 2 all the way up to 12. And at the start of the game, each pad is randomized what the victory points are for getting first or second on it. And so you just keep doing it. Everyone rolls simultaneously, everyone secretly picks their pairs, and then it's ready, and then we reveal, and then everyone places. And so there's kind of like you're competing with people on ones, or do I try to sneak over and get a few, and it just goes over so well. The simultaneous play is a ton of fun. It's really funny when I first got this game and I was teaching it, I read the rules wrong and I missed the part where it was simultaneous play. So
I'm like, house rule to the worst game.
I'm like, this is horrible. I roll and then I'm like, this just doesn't even sound fun. That changed everything. So, Ryan, I mean, this one is the best 10 to 15 minute game I own.
That's the thing is it's that short.
It's really it's that good. And so this one is not just squeaking into the collection. It is a staple in my collection, and in my opinion, easily the best of those 3. So very happy to have it, Sequoia.
Nice. Yep, I've been in a few of those games where it went over really well. Honestly, I feel like the biggest downside is it caps it. You said 5 players.
Yeah.
It's like it'd be nice if it could go to 6 or 7,
or 8 or 9 or
9 to 27.
Yeah.
Just,
well, I'm actually trying to think if you had a second, you had a second thing of it, all you would need is more dice and tokens. Maybe you would want
a lot of tiebreakers.
And you'd probably want like a 3rd place victory, first, second, third, or something. Only having first or second.
No, we play on hard mode where you roll 7 dice and make groups of 3, and now you have everything from 3 to 18.
Oh yes,
now we're
talking. Oh, that's good. Okay, Ryan.
Okay, my 4 is going to be pretty quick because I think, is this our first crossover? I don't think we've had a crossover yet.
That's actually amazing.
A crossover. We almost crossed over at the same rank. This is Poetry for Neanderthals.
Yes. Who got it first, me or you?
I think you.
I think it was me.
I think I told you about it, but I think you got it first.
That's usually how things work. You tell me, I get. That's how that works.
Yep. And I don't have a lot to add to what you said. I mean, it's a hard one to get to the table, mostly because I'm more and more hesitant these days of putting someone in a group in a position that they're not going to enjoy themselves or being comfortable, especially when I have other options that I know are safer.
As a game host, that is like your worst fear, right? Is that you like actually, not that someone just didn't like a game, but they like actively hated what you put them through.
They like would have rather they had like gone home.
Yeah.
than like stayed to play.
That's bad.
Yeah. So it is hard, and there's a good chance that in any group of 5-6 people there's gonna be people that don't like it.
True.
I'll also say I've been impressed by this one. It is like very quick, actually. Like you play a game, the whole game in like 15 minutes or so, which is also nice. It makes it a little easier because at least if someone isn't going to like it, you're not locking them into some longer game that they're like trying to think of excuses to escape from. So I've liked that about it. And then if the group does like it, it's easy to like be like, oh, let's play another one real quick.
Very true.
So yeah, it's a fun one. I've enjoyed it. For the right group, it can be a very funny but also fun competitive party game experience.
We are such suckers for party games, man. If it can just be like deliver something unique and make us laugh, like we'll buy it. My number 3 goes to a game that I do not play very often. Another party game.
It's probably because it's so lowly rated.
So it is lowly rated. Although, so I hate games. I'm typically not a fan of spelling games. Like one of my least favorite games is that Ryan has is what is it called?
Paperback. Yeah, Dangle. The look on Dangle's face when me, my older brother, and my mom go off to play Paperback.
I really don't like that game. I just don't like spelling games. However, I do enjoy this one, and this is going to go to Word on the Street, which this one again was one that I believe we got to get.
This is a long time ago.
So I still have this one, still holding on.
Dangle's the one that holds on to the old party games.
Holding on. But this one, so you play in teams of 2, which one reason I probably like it. I'm not by myself spelling things. But you, and I believe, you get some sort of I don't know if it's a category or something like that. Like but then you have to, pick a word that fits that category and then spell it out. But you're in this tug of war between the letters between both teams. I just think that's just a really interesting kind of mechanic.
Yeah, because it changes what kind of word you want to make. It's like, they're about to get it
right. We gotta think of what's a word that has 3?
Refrigerator.
Oh, Ryan. Wow. See, this is why I don't play against Ryan in that game, man. I would have just said rat or something.
We got it.
We got him. Give us that R, 1 space back.
Yeah.
But I find visually I love the letters. Like they're such nice pieces, and the whole just visual of it. The themes, whatever. But I find it looks cool on the table. But honestly, it's probably just the team nature of it, working together to come up with it. But then you have to actually spell it, and then the other team can challenge if they think you spelled it wrong. As you're going, which I think that's it.
Refrigerator is not the easiest word to spell.
Oh my gosh! Actually, yeah.
See, it's deceptive because fridge has a D, but I don't think refrigerator.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's the third fun fact of the video, Ryan.
Oh my gosh, this is loaded. We're gonna put in the thumbnail.
This is loaded
now with 4 fun facts.
Jeez. So honestly, just stayed because it's a very very different from the rest of the party games I have. It's of spelling. It's one I enjoy, and so still holding on to
subject himself to a little bit of spelling.
If I want, his,
poison of choice.
Yeah, it'd be good for the kids. Good for the kids.
My number 3 is also a party game. We're in party game land. This is one that I am pretty so-so on. Ooh. My wife likes it quite a bit. My wife definitely likes it more than like anybody else I know.
Wow.
And that's because my wife loves color. As an artist, she is a big fan of color. And this game is a very interesting game around color, and that is hues and cues. The entire board is a giant gradient of color. Have you played this one?
Yes.
Okay, I feel like you did. So it's a giant gradient of color, kind of like you would have like a color picker on the computer. And everybody gets cards that have like a specific square. So it's like that exact blue. And you have to clue for it. And this is where I think others like find this game a little bit challenging of like, well, how do I clue for that blue? Like versus any of the ones that are like,
oh, it's just such an artist game. Holy cow.
But you give a clue and then it goes around the table and everybody ends up placing 2 of their cones on spaces that they think are guessing where it's going to be. And halfway after one round of guessing, the clue giver gets to give another clue to try to kind of pull the guesses in the right direction. And then you end up putting out this little template that shows that like anybody that got exactly gets 3, anybody that was in like the 8 spaces around gets 2, and then the spaces around that get 1. And so you just score, and then it's the next person to clue off of it. So very simple. And honestly, it has that going for it. It can go up to 10 players and is very simple to teach and play to anybody. Dang. So that, it makes it something that I'm still glad to have it in my collection for like the very specific place. I just don't like usually feel like playing it often.
Don't tell Mary.
Much to my wife's chagrin. Yes, she wishes.
Does she watch her channel?
To the table line. I don't know, Mary. If you're watching right now, comment below, and otherwise we'll have a talk. I know this is pretty late in the video. I don't know.
There's no way she's watching at this point.
I don't know.
Yeah, I pay Kaylee to watch ours. So
yeah, she's probably more of a thumb and run kind of viewer.
Thumb and run.
Give us our thumb and just.
Oh wow.
No, we love her. She was on the channel. We can link that video.
It's like our most popular video. 10, people like her more than us. So there you go.
Yeah, top 10 games. Yeah, dang on. We're to our top 2.
Top 2. Okay.
Bottom.
Number 2 is a game we got very recently, and this one's unique because it's maybe one of the few board games that was being purchased because of my wife. Like she actively said, I want to get this game. And so, when your wife says that, Ryan, you open up that pocketbook and you spend because we're always looking for reasons to buy more games. And so this is, I believe we were actually at I want to say we were actually with you guys.
Yeah.
And we were in a board game shop and she was looking around and she saw this and just was looking at the back and was like, oh my gosh, that looks, hilarious and awesome. And so this is going to go to Hand Wombat. And so we've purchased this. We've gotten to play it several times now. I believe most of it's been with her family, and very unique game. I feel like every game on this list is just very unique. Makes sense. Very unique.
I mean, that's why they stick
around. Yeah. Where you're the box is actually the place where and then there's all these little plastic rings that you're trying to put on, or pieces that you're trying to put on that stack like on top of each other in a certain order. And there's multiple ones that you need to stack them up. But everyone is going to have their eyes closed trying to do that. And so you're kind of feeling around, trying to feel the pieces. You got to try to feel like, what's the biggest one? That one goes on the bottom. And so that in and of itself is hard enough. But also at the start of the game, you are dealt secret roles. And so one person is I forget, a bad wombat or something like that. And so their goal is they do not want you to be able to successfully do that. And we're all have our eyes closed as they're doing this. And so that is just a really funny thing because you're trying to do this and then you'll be like, it's hard to tell, is someone actively sabotaging me or is this just the problem because our eyes are closed? Because at the end of the round, we're going to open our eyes, look, and score, but then you get to vote on who you think. It's like there's a vote that happens to try to vote the bad wombat out. And you could accidentally vote a good person out, if you do that, and that would obviously be really bad. But then you play multiple rounds of this, and so it's a really interesting game. I have some. I think I just don't think it quite delivers the way we were thinking it might. Yeah. Like, there's just some problems I have. Like, and maybe I don't know if this is breaking the rules, but like, I know we've played with my wife's siblings, and like the one who was the bad wombat, like literally, like just. Like
stole a piece,
grab piece, like you can't take them outside of the area, but like I don't know, it was like holding it above everyone, like the piece that we needed.
Yeah.
Here's what I found is it is very hard to win this game. Like honestly, if you just didn't have the bad wombat, I honestly think the game would maybe
still be
almost be like properly difficult, because it's surprisingly hard. But you add the bad wombat into it, and so it's silly. Like, we have a lot of fun, but the actual like balance in winning this game, I don't think is well thought out. So it's in the collection because, one, my wife bought it, so you can't sell a game she bought. And then
I don't know. I don't know if I have that same rule.
Yeah, that's true. Ryan's just. But actually, no. The reason it's still in the collection, again, so unique. And there's again, I'm gonna have to. I need to give it a few more shots, honestly. Of just like, can it deliver what I want it to? Because I find every time after I'm done with it, it's kind of been like, that wasn't exactly what I was thinking was going to happen. So there you go. Hand-to-hand wombat.
Yeah, I haven't tried it. I'll have to try it sometime. Although I say that, but it's like,
you're never
in the few times we're together a year,
we're not pulling this out, Ryan.
That's the hard thing. I suppose this one doesn't play too well over Tabletop Simulator.
We'll try. Gosh dang it!
Stop peeking. Alrighty.
Top 10 games that don't translate well over Tabletop Simulator. That would be a funny list.
My number 2. A lot of I feel like people's ratings of board games boils down to expectations. Like, sometimes people just have the wrong expectation for a game, and that leads to a negative experience.
Wow.
And I think this is an example of one that this is a very casual card game. Very, very casual card game. And that's what it's trying to be. But it was nominated for the Spiel des Jahres German Game of the Year award, which over the years has become much lighter. Like, much lighter games win this.
Controversial game.
But still, the fact that it was nominated for that, I think, brought a lot of people to try it who were expecting it to be a little bit more than what it is. And I'm thinking that's a major reason why the rating, has gone down, is there's a lot of people that, probably weren't looking for what it's offering.
Looking for
but played it anyway.
And played this.
This is Llama. Llama by prolific designer Rainer Knizia, who has lots of, games from the lightest of light games like this all the way to heavy strategy games. And this one, for a lot of people, they're like, oh my gosh, is this even better than Uno? It's literally just like, I can play the same number or the next number, and the numbers just go up, and I'm trying to get rid of my cards. Are there any interesting decisions to be found in this game? But we actually just recently reviewed Llama, and we have found that there are some interesting decisions. Specifically, the push your luck of, when do I drop out of a round? When is it better for me to drop out versus keeping going? There are some decisions with, like, when you can play 2 different cards, do you keep the one that you only have one of? Because at the end of the round, if you have multiples of the same number, they don't score multiple times. Little things, and you can watch our review more if you want a more in-depth breakdown of why we think Llama works well.
Yes.
But
along with deep strategy,
this one is, I would say, also of games on this list, is a lock in the collection. This has just been perfect for that. I want to play a quick, casual card game that gets people. It's honestly a little bit of the same dynamic that you would get from a game like Uno. The difference is, I wouldn't want to play Uno with a group personally.
It's a big difference.
Whereas Llama, I've played it quite a few times, and I still enjoy playing Llama. I have a good time with it. You have to, come in with the right expectations, but I have a good time with it. We've had amazing comebacks. I think you actually had one of the most amazing. You were at almost 40 and ended up winning. When you win rounds, you can return chips. So it's just got some things that can make for some highs and lows in the game that just make it interesting. And so, it's one that I have enjoyed. I know it is pretty polarizing in the board game community. There are a lot of people that hate this game, or just are like, how is this game getting any attention? But I am in the camp of, I do think there is some special sauce in here that's making it a little more than what it looks like on the surface. And I've enjoyed it. Like, I've had fun plays with it.
It's all expectations. It's like, if you're expecting something, deeply, any sort of deep strategy, well then, it's horrible. But if you're expecting, if instead, if you go in, this is a game equivalent to like the lightness of a Uno, then it's like, oh, this is a really good.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like so much more fun than Uno.
Well, that's
like,
what I'm saying. Is like,
and so
it's like weight wise similar, but they actually make it. There's interesting things to it, and they improve it in a lot of different ways. And so to me, that's where it's in the niche that it's in. It's really great, I think, from the times I've played it. So,
yep. So, sitting at Board Game Geek at a 6.49 average rating out of 10, which again, I rate it like a 7.
Who's going to have the lowest rated game? That's the question here.
I don't know.
I bet it's me.
Yeah, you hold on.
I hold on to junk. Speaking of,
we're doing number 1, right? This
is it. This is the conclusion of the long-awaited trilogy that people have been.
My rating is probably pulling this one down a little bit.
And unfortunately, I might agree with the average rating on this one, and this is going to go to GPS. So this is the third of the 3 in that are all those small games that are bundled together. Funny thing. My wife just played this game with I wasn't in the game, but played it with our brother and our nephew this last week. They played. Funny. I look over and they're playing GPS. I was like, "That's so funny." I've played it once. I played it like once or twice ever. Very simple game in that you have these little satellite tokens, and the goal of the game is they're all randomized in terms of their number, and you're trying to ultimately get them in order around the orbit. And you spin the spinner, and wherever it lands, you can move one of your satellites to where it's pointing. And you're basically just rearranging the things around the thing.
Yeah, so why does this stay in your collection?
Well, it stays in my collection because it's the trilogy.
So nice with the other
it
two
looks
boxes.
it looks good on the shelf.
See, I knew it.
And they played it the other day.
Yeah.
Well,
I played this.
Can you really sell this one? Like by itself? I don't know.
I mean, I would. If I owned it, I probably wouldn't keep it alongside.
No one's
the
buying
other ones,
this
personally. I remember playing this one. It was a long time ago.
It's
an
not
example
good.
Of a game.
It's not.
It's
good.
an example of a game that is quite unique. Like it felt unique to me.
It looks good on the table.
It just wasn't like that fun. Like it just didn't bring much.
No, it's not fun. That's the problem. It was just like I'm doing something, but it's not fun.
And there's a fine line between that like game mechanics that have you doing something and like it being fun.
Yeah.
Llama's very simple, but provides us fun. It's hard. Game design's hard. I don't know if y'all have ever tried it. But there's a lot of times you think something's going to be fun and then you actually play test it and you're like, wow, this is
like Tasty
terrible.
Humans.
Yeah. Who play tested that game? But yeah, GPS. I think my rating is probably contributing to wherever the average is at.
I played it. I think 2 times maybe, and I was like, I don't think I need to ever play this again. But it was okay because the other 2 games delivered for me. So and
so rather than Daniel giving a strong Daniel's reasoning for keeping the game is.
It's for the shelf. Yeah maybe you can see it right there. Oh no, it's just cut off. I think maybe I don't know. Maybe you'll be able to see it.
Okay. Well, my number 1 is one that I do intend to keep because
it's not just for the shelf.
It's not just for the shelf. It comes in some of the most unique packaging of any game I own. It comes in very thematic packaging.
Okay.
This is Bag of Chips, which comes in what looks like a little
I can't believe it's how they sell it.
Bag of chips. It's not. It's a little more durable than like a Doritos bag, but Ziploc looks like a bag of chips. It's got like nutrition facts on the back, so they really went with that aesthetic.
Yeah, 10 out of 10 on theme.
There you go. But this one is just a fun, light, it's in a similar category as something like Llama, but it's more of a, not betting, kind of a betting game. It's kind of a unique betting game because basically you're going to, at the beginning of any round, get, I think it's like 5 of these, cards that are different, like conditions that'll score points if something is true at the end of the round.
Mm-hmm.
And then each of the turns in the round, you're drawing chips from this bag, and there are these little cardboard tokens, and there's like different amounts of each color. So there's lots of the yellow ones, like 8 of the yellow ones, and then it goes down to like 3 of the purples or something. And so everybody kind of knows the distribution in there. And each round you're drawing out a certain number of them. And then everybody has to decide one of their goals to discard that they're not going to try to do. And so you might have one that says, like, at the end of all the rounds, there's going to be more reds than greens, or there's going to be at least this many of something, or there's going to be this color is going to be the last one drawn from the bags. There's a lot of different kind of like things that you can do. And they, depending on how unlikely they are, they're worth more points. And so then after everybody's discarded one, you draw more for the second round. So you're getting more information about what the distribution is going to be. And then you discard another one. But then before you go into the final round, when you have 3 left, you have to pick 2 of them to bet on that you're going to like try to score for. But you also have to bet against one of them, meaning that if it does happen, it's actually going to be negative points. Which is a nice just little twist, because as you're discarding in the early rounds, you're like wanting to keep ones that are more likely, but you're going to have to bet against one of them at the end. And so finally, once they're all, you reveal the chips at the end, everybody totals up, how much they scored based on what they bet on it. And whoever has the highest gets 1 point. Whoever has the second high, or gets 2 points, whoever the second highest gets 1. And you just keep playing rounds until somebody gets 4 points. And it's just so quick and easy and light, and it's got these kind of just fun, exciting moments of like the drawing from the bag and, ooh, do I go for the like really long shot thing that's worth more points or not? And just some really, but it's unique. It's not like really anything else I have. And I've just had a few situations where it just was a nice one to pull out. I actually remember we had our Keyforge tournament. And towards the end of the Keyforge tournament, it's common that like there's games that are happening that other people are waiting on to play because of the bracket. And it was perfect. We got it out and we played a little bit, and it's short enough that we were always kind of ready. But everybody just kind of had a good time playing it. Only goes to 5 players, I think. So you're not going to do this with a big group. But I've been very happy with it. It's not rated highly.
Yeah, what's the rating?
But I think it also a 6.49. So it's the same as
GPS
Llama.
is way lower. GPS is 5.3. Wow. It's getting pulled under that 5.5.
Yeah. That's
wow, that
true.
means you have a lot of ones in there, like Tangan and
I don't know what I rated GPS, but I think it's
too bad.
I might be lower than that.
No love. No love.
But yeah, Bag of Chips. I recommend it. It's been a nice one. I think it fills what it's trying to do quite well.
Well, very nice, Ryan. There you go. That is our top 10 lowest average rated by the general public games that we still own.
Hey, thanks for watching. That was a long one going through a lot of games that maybe you've heard of, maybe haven't. They're maybe not as popular as a lot of other games being a little more lowly rated, but maybe we gave you some ones worth checking out for yourself. We've also got some other videos here. We've actually got a playlist of games that we've gotten rid of and why we've gotten rid of them. That may be interesting. There's definitely some very good games we've gotten rid of. Otherwise, another video here, and we will see you in the next one.